Hey guys, Dov here with some more Total War Warhammer 2 multiplayer action. We've got Shadow Walkers today, folks. Yes, indeed, the elite bowmen of Nagarath are here. They've got their dual hand weapon, anti-infantry poison, and poison missiles. Only 45 of them. They're basically like poison non-AP Way Watchers with anti-infantry. We're going to be led by a princess. We've got Lothern Sea Guard, some spearmen, a Lore Master of Hoeth, which means it must be Sarmatian. We've also got Lothern Sea Guard with shields, the Fireborn, and Silver Helms. Unfortunately, no Tuxedo Princes. The Fireborn don't count because they have a unique skin, of course, but we do have some silver suits here. No shields on them, but looking absolutely splendid in their silver suits. We've also got, for the Beastmen, plenty of Centaurs hidden here, just some regular Centaurs. For the front line, already getting pretty wrecked here on the other side of this rock. We've got some Ungor Spearmen herd, no shields on them, regular Ungor herd as well. Nice mobile force of some throwing axes, Poison Warhounds. We've got two Bestigor herd, Gorbol, Malagor the Dark Omen leading the way, Razorgore herds, and more Ungors, and one unit of Harpies. So yeah, right now, some good skirmish damage being done against relatively cheap units, but still, just get rid of as much of that Beastman chaff as you can. High Elves do have a pretty small model count army here, but the Beastmen don't have the biggest army in the world either. But yeah, let's see, the Silver Helms probably want to start focusing the Centaurs with Grey Weapons. Certainly the Lothern Sea Guard will be, and kind of pulling up into range to try and protect here. Spearmen obviously forming in the front line. And yeah, let's see, the Shadow Walkers. Looks like they are going to eventually get a volley onto that Centaur, and oh man, just one volley does so much damage. Only 3 models dropped there, but a massive amount of HP damage. And unfortunately for the High Elves, for Nagarath here, some Beastmen do manage to find a gap and exploit that to get through, start to get on some of these Shadow Warriors. The Harpies actually is an interesting matchup against the Shadow Warriors. They are way cheaper, right? Very cost-effective engagement for the Harpies, although they basically will trade somewhat evenly with the Shadow Warriors because they have pretty similar stats. Obviously, the rest of these supporting units are going to severely turn that around. But yeah, Shadow Warriors trying to pull away there, probably being on fire at will at this point, just continuing to shoot as they move. Meanwhile, the Princess comes over, helps the Fireborn, and the Silver Helms kind of break up the Centaurs and pretty much shatter them right off the bat, so that's great. With Summon Cygor as well. Going to be popping up. And unfortunately, the Lore Master of Hoeth did get himself a little bit caught out here. He's racked up quite a few kills against Beastmen infantry. Let's see, yeah, 30 kills, but he's absolutely surrounded at this point. And in particular, the Bestigor doing a lot of damage to him. The Cygor could even come and try and pound him in melee as well, so a little bit of a rough situation there. That being said, you know, we've got Poison Warhounds pushing up and around the side. The Harpies also making a little bit of a mess of the Archer line here, as the Cygor also throws rocks to pound in. But yeah, one unit of Shadow Walkers probably going to be able to get away here with most of their models still intact. A lot of the Beastmen mobile units are taking severe damage. The Princess, likewise, just kind of moving around. She has really good stats, 67 attack, 440 weapon strength on that Eagle. It's basically like a Manticore with a little bit better stats, but doesn't cause terror, unfortunately. Great Eagles, I mean, it makes sense that they don't cause terror, but it would be nice if they did. Summon Cygor goes down. Bestigor now engaging in the front line as a lot of the lower tier Beastmen infantry is routed. This Lore Master might be able to come back from rout, get himself a few Earthbloods, and get back in the fight here. So that's pretty good, getting screened out by those Spearmen. Likewise, we've got some Shadow Walkers coming back from rout right on the edge. They probably still going to get chased off by these Centaurs with great weapons, but just being able to get a handful more shots here, generate a little bit more value before they get completely seen off. And actually, will they rout these Centaurs with great weapons? It does look like they actually do rout the Centaurs with great weapons, which means they'll live to fight for a little bit longer, continue to use up some of that ammunition. Same thing with these Shadow Walkers here. The Silver Helms also pushing through. They don't have a shield, but I don't think these Centaurs with throwing axes are on fire at will. Otherwise, they would have emptied out all their axes and just wrecked those Silver Helms. So a little bit of an unfortunate mistake by the Beastmen there, leaving them off fire at will. But yeah, if we have a look over here, Malagor has used his second Cygor summon. Going to be continuing to chuck rocks at various targets. The Fireborn especially will be a pretty good target because their models are all so expensive. Looks like a couple models get picked off there. And anytime, even, you can just pick off a handful of models. It's very cost effective for a summoned unit. It is quite a bit of Winds of Magic, but Malagor also over here using his melee prowess to chop up some of those Spearmen along with his Bestigor. Silverhelm is going to come in, find an opportunity for a nice downhill charge. A little bit of a downhill charge against these Bestigor. Although they don't have the best AP values in the world, Best score have pretty low melee defense, so they will take the full brunt of the damage of that charge. You know, there'll be very few missed attacks on that, so the best score herd, yeah, you can see that equalizes that fight pretty significantly. Silverhelms don't want to stay involved in that fight for too long. They'll take a lot of damage there, but if we kind of take an overarching look, yeah, Lore Master of Hoeth is still back at the moment. That's definitely nice, and the Princess used up about half of her ammunition left, still almost completely healthy, so... Fireborn also coming back after having chased some units off, and Sarmatian doing a great job of staying very patient, chasing as many units off as he can. You know, these Silverhelms now pulling away, probably stayed in that combat for a little bit too long, but definitely don't want to stay anywhere where Gorbel is. Likewise, these Shadow Walkers trying to get away from the Harpies. The Harpies, actually, because of their high weapon strength, will do okay here, but it does look like the Shadow Walkers are able to rout them off. They've only got, what, one more volley of ammunition left. They are pretty decent combatants in melee. 41 melee attack in particular with anti-infantry means they're, especially against a lot of these lower tier Beastmen infantry, they're almost guaranteed chance to hit, right? What is that, 53 attack in total against infantry-sized targets. This is great for the Beastmen, though, charging in with Razorgore herds. They're not infantry-sized. They'll be able to get a tiny bit of shock damage, although very squishy. They will absolutely go down to these little poison sting blades here. And a nice Earthblood catching both the Shadow Walkers, still with 25 models, and the Lore Master himself. They're going to kind of work in tandem, both of them being anti-infantry. Last of the ammo gets used up there, and the Ungor herd actually routs. So, yeah, Shadow Walkers ending up pretty good in this late game, kind of cleaning up some of these peripheral weak units. Silverhelms leading the Gorbel on a wild goose chase, which in and of itself is going to be cost-effective at this point. The Fireborn also came around, got a good charge in here. They're now staying in combat against these... Beastmen, and for these guys it's obviously not nearly as risky as it is for the Silverhelms. Got 20% physical resistance, pretty decent melee defense. With Martial Mastery obviously it'd be even better, but even still, they're doing a great job kind of fighting these Beastmen troops, keeping them tied down. Silverhelms, yeah, just getting away. Gorbel decided to stop chasing, try and come after some other targets here. The Shadow Walkers and the Lore Master of Hoeth in a little bit of a dangerous position here. Let's see. What's Gorbel going to do? Just charge straight into the Shadow Walkers, I would imagine. They're now getting surrounded by Best Score as well. He might try and finish off this Lore Master. But the Princess comes through. Again, utilizing that high charge of the Eagle. They'll try and get some damage in on Gorbel. Yeah, another Earthblood as well. Unfortunately, it looks like Lore Master of Hoeth is going to rout here, and we've got probably a Devolve. A Traderkin, actually. Interesting. Going to do a little bit of damage to the Princess and the Lore Master. Princess is just about out of ammo at this point. She has used up a lot of her ammo shooting at Malagor, which is where a lot of that damage has come from. But Beastman units now starting to shatter, and the Shock Cavalry can kind of work in tandem here to try and finish off these lower tier units, especially like these Ungors. They don't really stand a chance against heavy Shock Cavalry like this. A nice kind of side charge from the Silverhelms. It's good shock damage. And as the Dragon Princes, oh, they actually did rout there, unfortunately. But, yeah, they'll probably come back, potentially get another charge in. As it stands, balance power still very close, which is good for the High Elves. They've managed to claw their way back in this fight. Lothar and Seaguard still being on the field, also used up the last of their ammunition as well, so really good stuff. You can see the Lore Master goes down here, but the Princess, cycle charging as aggressively as she can, has been getting consistent DPS against Gorbel, down to, like that. Took him to, what, 1,500 to 1,200 there, so really good hits. Like 300 damage or so on the AP, and yeah, the Princess's good stats are going to make a difference here. Gorbel doesn't get the best RNG either, kind of gets screwed over a little bit on his defensive roles, but with the Princess, the Talisman of Loic especially buffing up her melee attack and weapon damage just decisively defeats Gorbel there, and that will lead to a victory for the High Elves. Nagaraith, the Shadow Walkers, yeah, a couple of them got run over pretty hard, but the one, you can see, if you keep them alive, they can pay for themselves in a lot of situations. 93 kills in an XP Chevron, especially against factions that tend to bring, you know, higher value, low armor units, which the Beastmen certainly fall into that category with, you know, Centaurs and various things. Shadow Walkers can be very effective here. Also the Shock Cavalry, 84 kills on non-shielded Silverhelms, super cost effective. 140 for the Fireborn, they also definitely paid for themselves. And even the Spearmen in the front line, I mean, 53 kills, 71. Some of them did some pretty good work. 69, that's not too bad also. 64 for the Lore Master. 45 for the Princess herself. And yeah, on the Beastmen side, the best score, definitely a bright spot, 111, 169 kills with chevrons to go around. The Harpies also did a great job of disrupting. The Centaurs, though, definitely were a little bit of a wasted investment. The two melee Centaurs got pounded right off the bat by the shock cavalry, and although the throwing axes were able to kind of be annoying, they really didn't get that much damage done at the end of the day. So yeah, pretty interesting replay. Big thanks for to Summation for sending that one in. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.